Picture this. Flatline. No pulse, no breath. Minutes stretch into hours. Loved ones start dividing your keepsakes, planning your funeral. 42 silent hours pass. And then, blinding light. A moonlit orchard, 2 radiant guardians, 7 hells, 5 celestial mansions. And love is the only law there. It seems impossible? The greater shock is still ahead. This isn't fiction. It's the true account of Dr. George de Benneville, 18th century Germany. And his 42-hour death may rewrite your afterlife. George de Benneville was a man who didn't belong where he was. Born into French nobility, raised in the British royal court, trained as a physician, he walked away from all of it. He traded rank and comfort for bandaged hands and countryside preaching. By his mid-30s, he was treating the sick in rural Germany, and that's where it happened. He collapsed with a fever. Local witnesses said that he died at midnight. No breath, no pulse. They made preparations for his burial. And then, 42 hours later, he came back. But that isn't what shocked people the most. It's what he said happened in between. What he saw, what he heard, what he learned. In this episode, we're going to follow that journey into hells, heavens, and everything in between. And we're going to try to understand it by comparing it to the most detailed spiritual testimony we have, the writings of Emanuel Swedenborg. What happens when 2 men separated by time describe the same afterlife? Let's find out. Midnight, no breath, no heartbeat. But George de Benneville says he didn't die all at once. He died by degrees. He said he left his body slowly, watching from above as others started to gather around him. Not panicked, not peaceful, just aware. He wanted to turn away from the body lying below. And then something pulled him. I was drawn up as in a cloud, he wrote, and beheld great wonders where I passed, impossible to be written or expressed. Swedenborg echoes this same transition. He wrote, as soon as the internal organs of the body grow cold, our living substances, wherever they are located, are separated out. The Lord's mercy is so strong that it could not leave any living element behind. Not random, not chemical, something or someone pulls the spirit free, and no part of you gets left behind. Benneville wasn't alone for long. 2 beings appeared, one at each side, and their light was overwhelming, and their faces were impossible to describe. And their love, even more impossible to describe. He said that it penetrated through every part of him. They called him brother. And they weren't just there to greet him. They were there to show him how God saves everyone, starting with hell. But who were they? Benneville called them angels. And according to Swedenborg, that could be exactly what they were. People have no idea that at least 2 spirits and 2 angels accompany each of them. The spirits create a link with the world of spirits, and the angels create one with heaven. 2 spirits, 2 angels, always with you, whether you know it or not, whether you even want them or not. The guardians told Benneville to have courage, because they were going to show him how God deals with evil. And that meant taking him somewhere that few come back from. The guardians didn't take Benneville into the light. They took him straight into darkness. He said they passed through 7 habitations of the damned, realms filled with screaming, weeping, lamentation, and gnashing of teeth. Souls twisted by their own hatred, writhing in the fallout of their own choices. He said that he saw it all. Revenge, envy, lust, greed, each sin shaping its own prison. And then he saw somebody that he knew. Still conscious, still stuck. He wanted to reach him, but he couldn't. There was a gulf, a barrier in between. And according to Swedenborg, that's not just a metaphor. That's spiritual structure. The gnashing of teeth is the constant clash and strife of false convictions, united to contempt, hostility, mockery, and blasphemy. Lamentation is the state of their evil, and the gnashing of teeth is the state of their falsity. Though hell isn't a place that you're thrown into, it's a place that you spiral into, one false belief at a time, until the truth itself feels like torment. Benneville felt sorrow and grief, but not despair, because the guardians had told him, have courage, because he hadn't seen everything yet. But just when the horror peaked, something changed. A new presence entered. Benneville saw a vast multitude of angels, and in the center, Jesus Christ, radiating light. And as they passed through the hells, the screams stopped. He watched souls get lifted up, watched them be freed. It wasn't judgment, it was rescue. White robes represent the Lord's presence with the divine truth around them. When they are thus encompassed, they can no longer be infested by evil spirits. Swedenborg says that when divine truth surrounds you, you're protected, even from yourself. From there, Benneville was taken higher. He was taken through 5 celestial mansions, each more radiant than the last. People had garments whiter than snow, bodies like glass. Every movement was filled with love. Swedenborg echoes this. He wrote, "Divine love is the intent that everyone should be saved and should be most profoundly and fully happy." This wasn't a reward, it wasn't rank, it was just about how much light you're willing to receive. And then he got the message, go back. Tell them what you've seen. Tell them that no one is beyond saving. Or as Swedenborg put it, the divine essence is pure love, at work with everyone in the whole world, leading people who are in hell and rescuing them from it. So 42 hours after his last breath, George de Benneville sat up in his coffin and started talking. George de Benneville didn't come back to rest. He came back with marching orders. The angel told him, return to the world and preach what he called the universal, everlasting gospel. That God holds a pure, universal love toward all the human race, and to each one in particular. And although some religious institutions throughout history have contradicted this, Swedenborg, from his experiences, said the same thing. God cannot turn away from us or even look at us with a frown. To do any such thing would be against his essence, and what is against his essence is against himself. That's not a theology of fear. That is a rescue mission, and one that never ends. George de Benneville built a home in Pennsylvania where he treated the sick, taught children, welcomed all faiths, every action anchored in the idea that nobody is disposable. Love for the Lord and charity for our neighbor are the essential ingredients of all theology and worship. Then we would each say, "You are my kin. I see that you worship the Lord and that you are a good person." What was shown to de Benneville? A hell of our own making, a heaven ruled by love, and this one truth: everyone is being called home. Not all at once, not all in the same way, but no one's being written off. Benneville saw that, and then he lived like it mattered. Now, it's our turn.
Hey, thanks for watching the NDE Files. Hope you enjoyed this episode. What we're trying to do in this show is make sense of the afterlife. We're trying to take the experiences of Emanuel Swedenborg, which are just incredibly extensive and structural, and match them up with experiences throughout history so that we can try to understand what's really going on with the life after death, so that we can get a good sense of what this reality we're in is, and hopefully have not just comfort, but action steps of how we can live rightly in that. So please please subscribe. That helps our channel get out there, and leave a comment. We're going to respond to every comment that you put here because we want to know what you think. Thanks for watching.